Oasis Audio presents Mrs. Witherspoon Goes to War by Mary Davis. Read for you by Devon Sorvari. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 and 8. Prologue, Washington State, 1927. 17-year-old Margaret Denny opened an old cookie tin and handed over a bulk of her savings from working various jobs the past 3 years. The burly man squinted and rubbed the back of his neck. "I'm not sure if I should take your money, little lady." Margaret straightened. "I'm not a little lady. I'm going to be a pilot." "I doubt that." He thumbed toward the tattered and faded JN-4 biplane. "You know this doesn't fly. It's been busted for years." The Curtiss Jenny with a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, even not working, was a great find. "I know. I'll fix her up." He squinted at her. "Who's going to do that for you?" "No one." Margaret stretched to her full 5'2" and jammed a finger to her shoulder. "I'm going to do it and make her fly." The JN-4 was just the machine to help her soar into the air. She didn't have enough money to pay for fancy lessons or buy a functioning aircraft. But there was a pilot from the Great War in her town who said if she had a working plane, he would teach her to fly it. She had the first half. Now she needed to get the Jenny home and make it run. 2 weeks later, sitting on the floor of her grandparents' barn where she kept her biplane, Margaret still couldn't believe she owned an aircraft. Soon she would be able to take flight. With her legs crossed, she leaned against the landing gear and had the mechanic's manual open on her lap. Men sure didn't know how to write directions very well. No matter, she would figure it out. After having read the entire book from front to back, she sort of understood how an engine worked. Tinkering would help her figure out what was wrong so she could repair it. "Hello?" a male voice called from near the open doorway. Margaret looked up from the volume and peered around the landing gear struts. George Witherspoon sauntered into the barn, his hands deep in the pockets of his trousers. He must have wandered in here by mistake. She jumped to her feet, brushed dust off her overalls, and patted her hair. She must look atrocious. "Hello, you need something?" His mouth broke into the best smile she'd ever seen. "I'm George Witherspoon." "Oh, I know who you are. Everyone knows who you are." The most handsome boy in school. Or at least he had been until he graduated last year. Now he was the most handsome man in town. There wasn't a girl who didn't dream about him asking her out. "My grandfather's not here. He went over to help a neighbor, if that's who you're looking for." He chuckled. "I'm not. I think I'm looking for you. I presume you're Margaret Denny." He knew her name. "I am. Call me Peggy. Everyone does." He rested a hand on the wing of her Jenny. "And this is your JN-4? "It is." He shook his head in what appeared to be either disbelief or awe. "When I heard a girl bought an airplane, I had to see for myself. Does it work?" Peggy straightened. "Not yet, but I'm going to get her working." His mouth pulled to one side. "Don't tell me you know how to repair engines." She wouldn't let her lack of knowledge stop her. "I'm learning." "You're learning." He grinned. "Do you want some help?" "You know about engines? Aircraft engines?" She doubted it. Not many people had experience with flying machines. "Most engines work pretty much the same. I bet together we could figure it out." "Thanks!" She would likely get her Jenny into the air sooner with his help, and she'd get to see George Witherspoon often. That was better than him asking her out. He tilted his head. "However, when we get this thing ready to fly, will you let me give it a go? I've always wanted to pilot an airplane." "Sure, but I get to fly her first." He thrust out his arm. "Deal." Her hand trembled with excitement as she reached to shake his, and nearly melted at his touch.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?